Okay, good morning, everyone. So today we are going to start our next topic, right? And that is known as the course, or you can say cross-origin resource sharing, right? So in yesterday's session, we have discussed about the particular web security aspects and how important the web security is, right? So whenever you are developing your website as a developer you have to maintain the web security aspects, right? So this is the first step towards that, right? So earlier this concept was not there, right? But nowadays this particular concept is there as a part of web security, right? So first of all, let's understand what is the meaning of cross origin resource sharing and why it is needed, right? So first of all, here you can see that uh, cross cross origin resource sharing is a mechanism by which data or any other resource of a site could be shared intentionally to the third party website, so whenever there is a need. So up till now, what happens? There is no need for cross sharing, right? So what is the meaning of it? So suppose this is our client, right? So we are sending a request, and that request sends to the particular server, right? And that server identifies your machine and it responds back to you, right? So always, whenever you next time sends a request, that particular server serves the purpose for that, right? So it is from the same origin. It is known as same origin. It is known as the same origin, right? So we'll see detail in a what is the meaning of same origin. But right now, remember this: this particular server is the same origin for this particular client. This particular client, okay. And every time whenever client sends the request, this particular server identifies it and gives back the response. Gives back the response. This is your request. Okay, right. But sometimes you will get this kind of error. So generally, access to the resources that are resides in a third-party site is restricted by the browser client for a security purpose. Apart from this same origin, if you are going to send a server or that particular request goes to the another origin, that is known as the other origin, right? So at that time, it denies the particular response or that particular resources. So this is a third party site restricted by the browser clients for a security purpose, because we are going to access, suppose say you want to fetch the weather information, right? Or suppose any other resource, if you want to access, right? So at that time, that particular resources are not shared by that origin, right? And at that time, your particular response get lost. Okay, right? So this is the concept of this particular same origin and other origin. Now, remember this, whenever this kind of happens, then this kind of error will be there. So what is the error? So access to the XML HTTP request at from origin has been blocked by course policy. And here you can see no access control allow origin header is present on the request resource. So this is very important, right? So as this particular request goes to the other origin, you have that particular machine denies that, right? Now here what it says that has been blocked by course policy and no access control allow header. So as a solution to overcome this kind of problem, the web community comes together and they have found the solution for these HTTP headers, right? So we'll see in a detail what kind of this particular access control allow origin, what is the meaning of it, right? And how you can set that, we'll see later on, right? But if you found this kind of error, then it says that a cross origin resource sharing is not allowed, right? So This is the concept of course, right? Now, let's go further into the detail. Why it is needed? So most of the time, a script running in the user's browser would only ever to need access resources on the same origin, right? So every time we are telling that it is the resource of the same origin, right? So what is the meaning of same origin? Okay, so here you can see that in this particular figure, there is a client. Here we have a client, right? It sends the request to the API. Suppose now we are dealing with the APIs, right? So if the client particular requests the API, that particular goes from the browser. At browser level, it is okay, right? But at the API, if it is from the other origin, right? So your request will not be fulfilled and you will get no cross origin communication is allowed over here, right? So it is not always there that this particular API resides on the same origin. It may be on the other domain. It may be on the other domain. Okay, right? So at that time, you will get this kind of errors. So the fact that JavaScript can't normally access resources on the other origin is a good thing for the security. And this is for the security purpose, this concept is there. Now, suppose if you really want to access that thing, right? So it is not necessary that always you have to access the resources from the same origin. It may be possible that you have to request some APIs, right, from the other origin. That is necessary and that is required in today's scenario, right? So at that time, what is the solution for that? Okay, so as we have discussed that HTTP headers are the solution for that, right? And you have to set some parameters, some attribute values, and then you can access the particular origin. Now, this is the particular scenario. Now, if I want to access this API, then what I need to do, right? So for that, here you can see in this particular figure, now the course is applied, right? So how the course is applied? Course is applied with the help of HTTP headers. So whenever a client sends a request or requests the API at the browser side, it's okay, right? And at this time, in the response, there is a parameter set called allow control access origin, right? Here it should be accessed, right? So allow control access origin, colon star. So all other domains, star means it's a wildcard, right? If you want a specific site, suppose say this is my domain, that http://www.xyz.com, right? If I only want to allow this domain to be shared, right? Then instead of star, I need to write this. But here, what star means? Any domain, any other domain. So you can access your data from any domain. Okay. And this particular thing you have to set, and it is known as the HTTP headers. HTTP headers. And then it comes back to over here through the browser, and browser matches that the by okay, the cross you can say codes is applied over here, then you can access this particular resources. These resources may be any, suppose it's a images, it's a fonts, right? So these are the fonts is also a part of you can say resources, right? So font is also different from origin to origin. Okay, so this way you can access a particular resources from the other domain. Okay, now let's discuss other things. What is the meaning of same origin, right? And what is other origin? So in this context, the other origin means the URL being accessed differs from the location that the JavaScript is running from. Okay, so this particular same origin means, now let's discuss that. It is made up of, suppose say http colon slash slash www.xyz.com and colon 8080 slash index.php. Okay, so this is our path, right? This is our protocol, or you can also say it's a scheme. This is your domain, right? And this is your pod, right? So the origin is built up. Origin is built up of these three things. These three things. One is scheme, another one is domain, and third one is the pod, right? Now, what do I mean by other origin? Suppose this is my origin, http xyz.com and 8080. So any of these three is different. Remember this. Any of these three is different, then it is called as a other origin. Suppose say for example, instead of this particular HTTP, now I'm going to access the same domain with https colon slash slash and xyz.com and 8080. So these particular origins are different. Why? Because their protocols, their schemes are different, right? Suppose this is okay, right? HTTP here again, suppose if I go for that, http colon slash slash dot xyz.com, but here instead of 8080 I'm going for 8090. So now this is also the other origin. These and these particular addresses are not same. Okay, so this is the definition of origin and other origin. So now you can remember that what is the same origin? If the scheme, domain, and the pod are same, at that time it is known as the same origin. But any of these three property is different, then it is known as the other origin. Okay, now instead of this xyz, now I have yzx, then it is a different origin. Okay, so you can see any of these three parameter is different, then it is known as the cross origin, or you can say it's a other origin, right? So now whenever I say same origin and whenever I say other origin, then you have to remember, now you got the point, what is the meaning of same origin and what is the meaning of other origin, right? So if you know this concept, then you can clearly understand what the meaning of this particular CORS. Now, however, the particular legitimate scenarios where cross origin access is desirable or even necessary. As I told you that right now, as we have advanced web, then it is very much necessary that you have to access resources from other origin, right? So for example, if you are running a React SPA that makes a call to an API backend running on a different domain. So as I have discussed the earlier, if you are request the particular APIs, right, then also it may be different from the different origin. And web fonts also rely on cores to work, right? So in this case, many cases these days for web fonts and icons, which are often requested from other domains. Okay, and in this case, with the use of HTTP headers, CORS enables the browser to manage a cross-domain content by either allowing or denying. It is based on the configured security setting, right? So it is in the hand of developer, right? That what kind of and what level of security you want to provide. Okay, so Now let's understand what is the meaning of that request headers, right? So here you can see that when a domain is requesting to interact with the resources on another domain, request headers are added. So it is the job of a developer to add these request headers from the first domain in order to use the cross origin resource features, right? So whenever you are sending a request, then you have to add a request headers from the first domain, right? To access this cross origin. So now these are the HTTP request headers that may be associated with the domains. Like first is origin, then the access control request methods, and access control request headers, right? So these are the three things you can add. Now let's see what are other properties you can add. So here the domain whose resources are being requested can respond to the first domain with the following HTTP response headers, right? Based on what configurations options are set. So now what comes from the response side? So these are the properties comes from the response side. So it is access control allow origin, access control allow credentials, maximum age, control allow methods, control allow headers, right? So both these particular things are at the request and response side as he added. And now with the use of this, your browser will identify whether it is allowed for cross resource sharing or not, right? So now here, let's understand this scenario with one example, that this is your browser, right? First of all, we are sending one request. So with the use of cat method, I want to access the style from this origin that is known as the domainx.com. So here you can see that there is a particular scenario. Here our origin is domain X, right? And we are accessing style.css and our resource is on the same server, then we are getting the response. Okay, now we are sending a request for mystyle.css, and here we are sending one HTTP header at the request side. As we discussed earlier, that my origin is domain.com, right? So here you can see instead of domain, here it should be domainx.com, right? So that is a typing mistake. So origin, my origin. Now I am informing that my origin is domainx.com and I want to access these other resources from the different domain. So here my domain is Y. My domain is Y, right? So I want to access the resource from X to Y, right? So now, as I have already included my origin in my headers, HTTP request headers, right? Now this server will identify, okay, this is cross origin is allowed. So now send me the response with this HTTP response header. HTTP response header. Now here star is allowed. So developer has set the star, so you can access any other domains that particular site. Now this particular response comes back to our web browser. Comes back to our web browser, right? So this is the whole process of this particular CORS, right? So you can see that here. Let's understand this example. Let's say domainx.com makes a request to domain Y for a particular resource, right? As we have seen that mystyle.css. Now CORS uses HTTP headers to determine whether or not domainx.com should have access to that resource, right? So now it is identified. Okay, domain has have access to the resources. If it is, then allow, otherwise deny. Now the browser automatically sends a request header to the domain Y with origin http domainx.com, right? So now what will happen? At the domain Y side, domainy.com receives that request and will respond back with either this particular origin, specific origin, or with a star. So meaning all domains are allowed. Okay. If it is not there, then you will get the error. And what kind of error you will get? So as we have seen in the introduction portion, right? So this is the overall scenario of this particular CORS. This is very much important to understand. Okay, right. Now, the other concept is, that was the simple one. Now, other concept is pre-flight course example, right? So what is the meaning of it? So when certain more complicated types of requests are performed, the browser will insert additional pre-flight requests to validate whether they have the appropriate permission to perform the action or not, right? So you have to initially set this pre-flight request, right? The request is pre-flighted if any of the following conditions are met, right? So the first condition is it uses an HTTP method, okay, other than get or post. Second condition is custom headers are set. And the third one is the request body has a MIME type other than text/plain. So whenever these three conditions are there, then you can make a pre-flighted course. Now, what is the meaning of it? So first of all, if my origin is http domainx.com, so whenever I'm sending a request, okay, so with that request, remember I'm sending HTTP request header with these following parameters. So the first is I'm going to define origin, okay, so my origin is X. I'm defining that access control request method. So which method I'm going to use, that also I'm going to define, that is a post method. And the next parameter is the access control request headers, that is a custom header, and for which it is for the X domain, right? So it is X custom header. So these three information is pre-flighted, right? Initially, I'm going to send with this my request. Okay. So in earlier example, if you have noticed that we have sent only one origin. Okay. But now we are additionally sending some another request. Okay. Now if domain Y is willing to accept the action, right? So, okay, I'm okay with these configurations and I'm going to send you the response, right? If Y says that. So it may respond with the following headers. So what is the response headers we have? So access control allow origin, that is my domain X. Access control allow method, whether it is a get or post, and custom headers, right? So at the response side, it also sends these particular parameters, and it is the responsibility of your browser to match these parameters. If it is matches, then your request service will be fulfilled. You can access the resources. If it does not match, then you cannot access the request, right? But with the pre-flighted, right? If it accepts this, then this kind of response headers you will get. Okay, so this is the particular pre-flight scenario, right? So that was all about particular, you can say CORS, right? Now we are going to start one another topic, that is the understanding of SEO, right? So what is the meaning of SEO, right? So everybody nowadays knows this particular term. It is very popular term, right? So SEO is search engine optimization, right? And it is basically to make or to generate a traffic on your website or blog or whatever things, right? To make attention of the customers to your particular, you can say, applications, right? So let's first of all understand what is the meaning of search engine and how it works, right? So first of all, search engines are programs that search the document for a specified keyword. So suppose this is my Google search bar, right? And here I am typing what is SEO, right? Or if I type only SEO, right? So these two things are there, but the main common thing over here is SEO. So I want to search the information about the SEO. So what your search engine will do, it focuses on this particular keyword, right? And this particular keyword, it is stored in your HTML document. So as I told you that at that time, you have to store the meta information, right? So what is that meta information? So you have to store the keywords, right? Then you have to for searches, okay? So this particular extra information you have to store in your web page. So what this particular search engine will do, it will search for these keywords, and wherever it finds the keywords, it will make a list of that particular links into the browser, right? So a document, it searches a document for a specified keywords and return a list of documents where the keywords were found. Okay, so this is the working strategy of the particular search engine. Okay, this you know very well. But this information you have to remember. From where these keywords are going to find? So from the meta information. And where the meta information is stored? Meta information is stored in your web document or a web page. Okay. Some of the popular search engines are the Google, Bing, Ask, right? Baidu, whatever, Yahoo. Okay. So there are lots of search engines we have, right? So apart from this list, you can choose any of the particular search engine and you can search for the maximum people are using Google. Okay. Now, what is the working strategy? How, as we saw earlier that it is going to search for the keywords, right? So to searching that, to operates, it is going to use these three methods. One is the web crawling, indexing, ranking, and serving results, right? So these are the three techniques used by your, or you can say these are the three algorithms used by your search engine, right? To fulfill your request. Okay, so we are not going into the detail of each and every term, as this is just a brief introduction, right? But these are the three algorithms or techniques search engine uses to fulfill your request. You just need to remember web crawling, indexing, ranking, and survey results, right? For that, they have a specific algorithms, and based on that algorithms, it will search. Now, what is the meaning of it? The search engines are categorized into two categories based on the result gathering. First is a crawler based research engines and human powered dictionaries. So first one is these kind of search engines create their listing automatically by crawling or a spider the web, right? It searches for the particular connected related words and automatically generates the list. Human powered dictionary, such as an open dictionary, depends on the humans for its listing. So here the manual power is required to list out that particular keywords and all that stuff, right? Okay. Now let's understand what you found whenever you are searching. So whenever you are searching, right? Suppose this is a Google, I'm searching for the iPhone. This is a keyword, right? And this particular keyword, based on your crawling algorithm, indexing, or whatever algorithms, your search engine will find the links. So these are the particular links we have. There is a big list, right? So how these lists are found, right? So the meta description text. So here you can see that this is a particular result. Here you can find a link. This is your particular meta informations, right? This is your keywords by iPhone 12 Pro, iPhone 12 in purple, compare iPhones, why switch, add tag. The keywords list are there, and this is your title tag. This is your title tag. So you can see that these particular informations you are going to see whenever you search for a specific word in a Google, right? So there is a specific meaning for each and everything, for each and everything. You can see that, right? Now, let's go ahead. Another thing you will notice. So here you will notice that some of the results are like this in a this kind of background colors. Okay, here ads are there. You can see that, and these are the different results. These are the different results. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? See, each and everything has a meaning. So these kind of stuffs are known as paid search AdWords, right? So suppose if I'm running a company or if I'm running one blog, right? And I'm putting important informations that can be useful to the society, right? But everyone is not noticing that, right? So how I can make an impact of my that particular blog to the society? So for that, I go for these paid schemes, right? I will just take one of the plan, and what Google do according to the plan, it will display the information. So though there are not many customers are visiting or many people are visiting my blog, it will be in the first link over here, right? So now people are noticing it is a one kind of digital marketing. It is a one kind of digital marketing, right? So that is that. I hope you know this. And this is known as the organic search. 80% of clicks means organic means suppose that blog is very much popular in the community, in the society, right? So people are visiting more and more, more and more. So if the Google algorithm finds that, okay, this particular blog gets the 80% of click, then it will put you at the first. Apart from these, there are lots of algorithms they are running in the background. We don't know that, right? But this is the general scenario, right? So based on that, it will put this kind of list in a priority. So most frequently visited links and all that stuff related to your search, right? So these are the two types of search engine results are there. One is a paid, another one is the organic search. Okay. Now, what is SEO? So SEO means a search engine optimization is the process of improving the visibility of a website. As we discussed, it make an impact, frequently visited, or a web page in a search engine via natural, that is organic, that is natural or unpaid, that is a paid or unpaid, or algorithmic. So as I told you that there are lots of algorithms are running in background and based on the search results. Okay. So ultimately our goal is I want to display my link, my blog link in a very first page of a Google. So that is SEO, right? SEO may target different kind of search, including images search, local search, video search, academic, news search, industry specific search, right? So these are the different targets will be there. What is the need? So if your site cannot be found by search engines or your content cannot be put into their databases, so you missed out the particular incredible opportunities available to website provided via search or the people who want what you have visiting your website, right? So though your content is such a wonderful, such a good content, but people are not noticing that, right? And if you want to make people notice your content, then you just need to go for this SEO, right? So there are two ways. One is a paid way. Another one is the organic way. Organic way is a totally depends on your content, right? If you have extraordinary content, right, then obviously your content will be in a first list of the Google search. Okay, right? So this kind of stuff are running right now in the market. What is the search process? So first of all, we all know what is the search process, right? So experience the need for an answer, solution, or piece of information. So you just put a query into the search engine, formulates the need in a string of words or phrase. So obviously, we are only putting some important phrases or words. We are not putting a whole paragraph, right? Enter the query in a search engine and execute. Browse through the result for a match. Okay, whatever I am searching, I am satisfied with the result. Yes, if I'm satisfied, then click on a result. Scan the content of a web page for a solution or a link to that solution. Okay, if it is a fulfill, if it is satisfied, if it is unsatisfied, suppose if whatever results are I'm getting in a Google that I am not satisfied with that, then you just go for another search, go for another link, and perform a new search query, right? So this is the general process. This is the simple process we are performing each and every day, right? By the form of Google. Okay. Now, what are the algorithms or what are the techniques are used for the SEO? So keyword search, we have already discussed, baseline ranking report, on-page optimization, SEO copywriting, right? So you don't put a copyright contents in your particular web content, right? So it makes a bad impression and it will not get the good impact on a particular algorithms, right? So that algorithms automatically rejects your content if you have copy pasted copyright contents, right? So that content should be the natural one. Organic contents you have to just put, right? So here I have put the meanings of each and every term, right? What is the meaning of understanding keyword research? Okay. So how you can make the keyword research? So as we know that as this figure shows that budget, some keyword data, you have to put conversational potentials like conversions, computation levels, and all that, right? Now, these particular things you have to remember. Next is understanding on-page optimization. So as I told you that as a web developer, you have to put this content. So all this content you have to put, right? And this particular content is used by your search engines. Okay. And based on that, it will rank that. And most importantly, you have to put the title tag, meta keywords, and image order attributes. right? So if image is not there, then what is the alternative for that? Okay. Then list of the web pages available within a site, priority based you have to put. Okay. Then if you frequently updated your website, then you just notify that to the search engines. Okay. So this kind of possible ways you have to follow for the search engine optimizations. The link buildings, right? So when your website links to your sites, right? So this kind of lists are their website links. So here are visits counter is there 785, 653. So how many times that particular link is visited, right? So that is also helps to increase the popularity of your site and it drives the traffic to your website. And it helps the search engine for ranking, increasing the ranking. Okay. So this is all about our cost unit, guys, right? So here I'm going to end the session. Is there any doubt up to this?